Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the keyword suspend. But I'm going to be real with you. Suspend is one of those keywords that looks simple but gets weird really fast. When it comes to suspend, you're paying mana now to cast later, which means you're not playing magic, you are setting up a time bomb. And by the end of this video you get to know what suspend actually does without the headache, some of the mistakes that people make while using suspend, and I will also be showing some cards with the keyword suspend that you may want to put in your commander decks. But before I jump into suspend itself, a quick little shout out for my small little Etsy shop. If you want to help and support out the channel, I have a small little Etsy shop where I make t-shirts and hoodies in multiple colors and sizes for people to enjoy. Getting them helps me make commander classes every single week and then other videos on sets and decks and stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, there'll be a link in the description, and as always, if you want to help out, subscribe and watch more of my content. Alright, so what actually is suspend? Suspend is a mechanic where you can cast the spell for a special cost, but instead of casting it there and then, you exile it with a bunch of suspend counters on it. And then on your upkeep, you get to remove one of the suspend counters on it. And then on your upkeep, you get to get rid of one of the suspend counters on it. On the card, it will tell you how many suspend counters it gets. It's different for every card. Then when the last one comes off, you then get to cast the card for free. So the easiest way to think of suspend is you cast it now, but get it later on, but you're casting it for cheaper usually. But there are some rules that some people mess up on. When you cast for a suspend, you're not just saving it for later. You're setting it on a timer, and then the game lets it happen when time runs out. For example, if it's suspend 3 for 1 mana, you pay the 1 mana, then you exile it with 3 time counters on it. Each upkeep you get to remove a time counter on it. Then after 3 upkeeps you then get to cast it for free. But there are some rules that people don't understand or fully use when it comes to suspend. The counters come off at your upkeep. I've seen some people that say it's a upkeep, but it's your upkeep and your upkeep only. The next one is whenever the last counter is removed, you cast it. So it has casting times. A lot of people think it's you get to play it. So to be honest, even if you suspend, you can still get counted. So it's important to know that you don't put it on the battlefield, you cast it. But it also has slight benefits because you're casting it for free. If it's a spell, we'll say, like an instant or a sorcery, you can also copy it. It can also be counted, but you can also copy it. It pretty much goes on the stack like any normal card would. So unfortunately, your opponent still has the chance to ruin that card for you. The reason you cast it is because certain rules still apply. For example, if the card is a choose the target, you still have to choose the target, which if you play, I don't think you can choose targets. I could be wrong there, but casting, you still have to do the recommended steps on the card. So choosing a target, if it says it, still got to choose that target. If there is extra cost spells on it, you can still pay them extra cost spells. And then the following timing still also, so if anyone plays an instant or something like that, then the stack continues on and you have to keep going. So you don't just get to do it with no cancellations and no one can do anything. Suspend is delayed value, but it's also a warning sign for your opponents. Because some of your opponents may see you cast that card with the suspend cost and go, oh cool, we've got like 3 turns to stop that or stop the player. The best way to stop that card completely is player removal. So even though suspend is powerful, it also puts a target on your back. But either or, suspend can be really good in commander, because suspend does something quite important when it comes to the game of commander. It lets you use your mana efficiently. A lot of suspend cards are expensive mana wise, but the suspend cost is usually a good bit cheaper. So during the turns in between, you get to do stuff like develop your board a bit more. You also get to play more ramp, hold up interaction, and then be ready for the turn that suspend is going to go off, so you can go all out and hopefully win the game that turn. It's a little bit like you're playing 2 turns at once because you're paying the card that you paid for like 3, 4, 5 turns ago. But then it also works for your opponents because they can just do stuff like save their counter spell. If you're going to play, we'll say a 3/3 with trample, they would rather take the 3 damage and then counter spell the card you're playing on your next turn with the suspend, then not take the 3 damage and counter that instead. The same is holding removal. If they have a removal card knowing that you're going to play a suspend card and you go, cool, I'm gonna play this creature, they're like, that's less dangerous than the one you're gonna play next, so I'm going to let you have that. And then my favorite bit about Commander is that you get to talk and come up with a plan together and help each other out. So you can go, cool, I've got this card, I want to stop that opponent from doing a thing. If you don't target me with that spell or that suspend card, I'll stop that if you don't hit me with that, which would seem fair. Suspend is amazing for just big swing turns. One of my favorite things about Suspend is you get to go, cool, I get to untap, draw, and then activate this card. But Suspend is not for every single deck. There's certain type of decks that it usually goes really well with, a lot of them being in the Izzet colors. But if you have a resourcey deck, Suspend's great for that. If you like playing defensive early and then go for big massive attacks late game, Suspend is also great for that. Suspend is a very late game effect, so if you're playing CEDH, Suspend isn't great for you. If your deck is kind of slow and grindy, Suspend is perfect for you. But now when it comes to Suspend, there is a lot of amazing cards that all do weird and unique things. I don't think really there's kind of two similar Suspend cards, but if you haven't seen any Suspend cards or you can't think of any from the top of your head, here are some really good Suspend cards. Hypergenesis, Living End, Mox Tantalite, Wheel of Fate, Ancestral Vision, Benelish Commander, Charnel's Serenade, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, Deep Sea Kraken, Estalic Beauty, Gaia's Will, Glimpse of Tomorrow, Inspiring Refrain, Greater Gorgodon, Lotus Bloom, Profane Tutor, Rousing Refrain, Soul Talisman. So overall, I actually like Suspend in Commander. It does a lot of cool things, and I believe you can mess around the counters a lot if you have remove counters. I'm pretty sure you then get to cast the Suspend card, but also if people get to proliferate, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong here, that you can up the Suspend counters, making it that it's longer for your opponents to cast or use that card. It's a really cool mechanic in Izzet decks or spell splinging decks. But if you like Suspend or if I've missed anything on it, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Suspend and is there any cards you absolutely love. Ancestral Recall, I think it was, is one of my favorite cards. I absolutely love it. But also while you're down in the comment section, remember to like, subscribe, and do all that YouTubey stuff we always ask for. And as always, if you liked this video, I have last week's Commander class here, a playlist of all the Commander classes I make here, and a subscribe button here, and I will see you all in the next video.